In this video, we will demonstrate the workflow of preparing a 3D garment for ray trace rendering. This type of workflow is necessary to achieve a realistic, true-to-life render result while using the ray trace render engine. To start, we'll load a tutorial file and open a snapshot. Most of the design work for this outfit is already done. We will now focus on the fine-tuning of the details that the ray trace rendering enhances. As mentioned in a previous lesson, there are several aspects of a garment that may look different in the 3D window compared to when rendering with ray trace. We begin with the differences that are included by using displacement maps in materials and workmanship. Stitch construction, for example, uses normal and displacement maps to create the look of seam allowance workmanship. Therefore, we can recognize a difference when looking at them in the 3D window as compared to the V-Ray preview. When stitching two edges together, the stitch construction becomes an open seam by default. Let's change this to directional seam. Next, we look at the top stitching seams on the flowers on this dress. To make sure we achieve the intended look, it is recommended to check the seams in the V-Ray preview. The seams look more three-dimensional when ray trace rendered due to the automatically generated normal and displacement depth maps. We're aiming to achieve the effect of a thicker thread, so let's adjust the seam properties accordingly. Another aspect of the garment that is influenced by using displacement maps and therefore look different when we render in ray trace is artwork execution. There is already an artwork placed on the shirt. It is intended to be executed as embroidery. To adjust the artwork accordingly, we select it in the Resources tab and change the artwork execution. We can see an immediate change of texture on the artwork, but we will only see the artwork execution in full effect when opening the V-Ray preview. We now adjust the parameters according to the execution we're aiming for. Next, we can move on to preparing other aspects of the garment for ray trace rendering. Let's look at the avatar pose and 3D styling of the garment. The pose already looks great, but we'll make some small changes to the shirt with the 3D styling tool before rendering. Now, let's look at the grid size. The grid can be described as the base that carries the physical properties of the fabric. The grid size of each pattern piece can be adjusted individually. The lower the grid size, the more details that are visible, and the smoother the fabric drapes. It is recommended to lower the grid size of some pattern pieces just before rendering to ensure the realistic representation of the fabric. For this outfit, the grid size of most pattern pieces already have been adjusted. Let's now lower the grid size of the pattern pieces on the shirt. We recommend setting a smaller grid size between 0.5 and 0.7 on smaller pattern pieces if you want to achieve more detail. On larger pattern pieces, a grid size between 0.7 and 1 is recommended. After changing the grid size, the garment must re-simulate. At the end, let's make sure to present the outfit in the right light and adjust the environment to enhance the best features of the garment. In this video, you've learned how to prepare an outfit for ray trace rendering. For more information, check out the Browseware Help Center.